Hi and welcome back to this video series. Today we're talking about Centrify and forest and domain functional upgrades, and we're focusing on the jump from Windows 2003 functional levels to Windows 2012. In the previous videos, I've explained to you what are the tools you have to gather information in your assessment. What are the considerations for when a domain or a forest functional upgrade, what happens, and that you need to be working with your Active Directory team to make sure that those Active Directory clients that rely on that, Unix, Linux, Mac, Centrify, and the Opera application plugins that depend on that as well as utilities, what is the methodology? So, in the second video, we introduced a Windows 2012 domain controller. Windows 2012 domain controllers will add additional encryption levels. They will also add SID compression. We also verified that the Centrify agent was fine. In the intermediate step, I actually I went ahead and I demoted my Windows 2003 domain controller, and that involves a lot of steps. One is changing the FSMO roles. So, if you look at the operations masters here now, my Windows 2012 machine is the RID PDC infrastructure domain naming schema master. So all those things needed to be changed, and we needed to demote the computer running DC promo. So if I look now at my computers, it's just a basic member server. If I look at domain controllers, it's just a Windows domain controller as well. AD client also, Centrify Direct Control, was able to receive the change if I want to authenticate as myself, AD user. I'm able to do it, right? So, you know, that proves that the transition actually happened as expected. So let's go ahead and look at some of the other aspects of this. So just to verify, we're going to do an AD info minus minus diag, and we're going to grep for functionality. And notice that the forest functionality is still at that level. So what we're going to do is, before we do the domain functional upgrade, we needed to make sure that that was, that the Windows 2003 is decommissioned. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to change all this. So we're going to raise the domain functional level, and we're going to go all the way up to Windows 2012 R2, and we're going to click raise. So actually, before I do that, I much rather do it first at the forest level, right? So this is, some of the disadvantages of doing this, on the spot, right? So, so first we're going to raise the forest functional level to Windows 2012 R2, right? So there's no replication that needs to happen, right? This is an oversimplistic example, but I'm just to be safe, I'm gonna do an AD flush, right? And then we're gonna look at the change of behavior. So now notice that forest functionalities has become 6. So let's go ahead and we're gonna raise the domain functional level. So let's do a refresh. Okay, so everything seems to be, running at the highest level. Let's test again. Let's test for authentication, right? So let's do this. Duplicate session. Just for giggles, let's just restart the agent. And this is going to create a new set of cached, Kerberos tickets. So let's see if I can find this somewhere here. Actually, you know what? Let's just do a history and grep for klist. And I'm looking for the 149, I guess, probably. No, actually, the one for the cache, so 52. So there you go. So let's take a look at the, notice that now we have tickets with the highest encryption. So, LDAP, CIFS tickets as well. I can also let's stress the agent here. Let's change the password for the key tab. So let's do a history and 80 key tab. So we're going to change the password of the actual computer object. Typically happens every 28 days by default. We're forcing that. Otherwise, this will be a long video. So that was changed right here. Let's do a restart the agent. And let's look at our cache tickets now. There you go. So yeah, so ultimately, why do you do this exercise, right? So you're first and foremost, you're working together as a team. You're getting efficiencies by consolidating identity, privilege management, providing SSO to your on-premise apps by using Active Directory and enabled by Centrify, right? So when those decisions are made, the efficiencies, the uh, the trade-off is that you need to work together as a team, right? So, as a customer of Active Directory, you have to be, re-represented on the Active Directory Council, security as well, and you're doing the right thing because you're promoting operational efficiency and at the same time you are also improving security. So I'm hoping that this series worked for you and maybe it can be a reference design for your testing. Maybe it can just basically, give you the assurance that things are just going to work. But ultimately, do your due diligence and work with your teams to make sure you're successful.